Today's chat looks a little different because I somehow convinced the man running for governor of the state of California to come get his steps in with me. So you actually grew up in Sacramento.
Born and
Is
raised.
it the same place you remember?
Oh, it's much bigger.
No, especially with Golden One Arena, it has really developed that whole entire area so much.
Just so much. I remember growing up, when you would hear Folsom, you would think lake or prison, not town.
Right?
Yeah. Roseville, you didn't think a town. You thought flea market. Yeah, because that's where DeMaio's flea market was. And so everyone knew about the flea market. But Roseville was this little tiny thing.
Yeah, things have changed so much, especially in downtown. Well, since we are getting our steps in today,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, do you know what a hot girl walk is?
I know, yes, and I guess we're like hot girls
We're
walking.
technically doing that right now.
I've never been called a hot girl before, but I'll take it.
Right? So it's basically where you dress in something really cute and you go get a coffee and you get your 10K steps in for the day. And you listen to maybe a podcast, like an educational podcast. I prefer NPR.
Amen.
Yeah, not a
Amen.
bad one. But on the topic of getting coffee, I noticed the other day when I grabbed one, it was about $9. Why is it so expensive to be a hot girl in California?
Let me tell you, whether it's coffee, which I don't drink, so I save $9, or whether it is buying a house or getting your health care, everything has become so expensive. We pay so much for gasoline. If Donald Trump hadn't started that war in Iran, we'd be at least $1.50 less a gallon right now today. And
Really?
so there are things that are being done that are just driving up the price that we can, it's hard to deny that it's costing more to build something or to grow something. But when somebody starts a war that was not constitutional, and now the consequence is we're paying $1.50 more a gallon because of that craziness, that's the kind of stuff you can avoid.
I fill it at the pump certainly every single time, just because even that $1.50 makes such a huge difference for the everyday, even middle class citizen. And I can only imagine for the low income individuals how much that really hits them. Trying to go to work, just day to day life becomes so much more expensive.
Yeah. It's a kind of thing that could have been avoided had you had good policymakers in charge versus people who just don't think about what they're doing to average families.
Yeah, and as someone who wants to buy a home, it seems nearly impossible for people in their 20s and 30s to even have that be in the realm of reality.
Yeah. Well, we got to change that because the way you develop wealth, most folks aren't going to be, a Bill Gates, a Mark Zuckerberg. But the way you develop wealth in America is by owning a home, because that's an asset that usually appreciates in value. Your car is going to depreciate.
Yeah.
Your clothing, your appliances, they depreciate. But a home, that's how you create wealth.
Yes. On a topic that's really close and personal to me, I wanted to chat with you a little bit about healthcare.
Yes.
As someone that has struggled with health issues their entire life, where can we make some changes where a patient can be a patient again and not a middleman between insurance and healthcare providers?
So, Savannah, it's a great question, because it used to be way before your time, even a little bit before my time, where you used to go to a doctor and it was a doctor's office. It wasn't somebody else, a corporation that owned it.
Yeah.
Today, healthcare has become a business, and healthcare has become a commodity, and it's priced. It used to be doctors wanted to be doctors because they could cure people. Today, you go into business as a doctor, and you have to become a businessman as well. And so what I will tell you is that part of our problem is that we've commoditized healthcare. So everything has a price. The pill has a price.
Yeah.
That procedure has a price. And instead of thinking about what's best for you, we're thinking, can you pay the price?
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, because some people can't pay that price, so they don't get healthcare. We've got to change it. We got to make it so healthcare is a right, not a privilege that if you can afford the commodity, you get it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think on top of it costing extra out of pocket, you also run into the issue of even getting a doctor's appointment. And sometimes I would wait 3 months with an urgent issue to get it. And it would require me to escalate to so many different levels that at the same time, I'm very sick. So on top of dealing with all of that, I'm trying to get better. At the same time, I'm begging for care at that point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, as they say, time is money. And time could be health. And the longer you wait to get that health care that you need, that means your health deteriorates. And so we just have to change our approach. We have to stop treating healthcare like a commodity, because unlike water, education, electricity, we treat those as essentials. Everybody should have access to them. You go to the grocery store, you want to buy some food, that, it's a commodity. You want to buy more clothes, that's a commodity. And you buy what you can afford. But there's some things you can't live without.
Yeah.
And healthcare is one of those things. And so we should not let it become a commodity that's priced out of the reach of too many families.
Absolutely, yes. And then I also wanted to ask a question about young Californians. What do you think that politicians get wrong about people in their 20s and 30s?
I think we see too many politicians who get distance from them. They don't see them, they don't know them. I mean, I think too often what happens is you get so insular as you go on in time, and you just get accustomed to what you know. And every generation's a little different. And if you don't keep up with things, my wife's a physician, and she'll always tell me, I'm a great doctor, and she is, but she says, but I want to see someone who's in their 30s at some point, because they're the new thing. They know everything that's new. They need doctors like me who are a little older to help sure we guide them. But I want young, vital physicians who understand today's technology.
Yeah.
And so that's what we need. Is too often politicians get too comfortable and they don't try to reach out and find out what's really going on in the world, especially with young folks.
Yeah, I think we also get told a lot we can't afford houses or certain things because we get too much avocado toast and coffee, which is always a funny response.
Well, as I said, I don't drink coffee, so I do save $9, but I'm not going to say that's going to stop you from buying a house by not getting, buying
it's not realistic, right?
Yeah.
What are some things that you plan to do your first year in office?
One thing I've said already is I think it's crazy as we see the price of our utilities, our electricity, the price of the insurance we pay for a home, if you're fortunate to own a home, just keep going up, up, up. And I've said that I would do everything to try to freeze those bills, electricity, utility bills, and your home insurance bills, because we need to figure out why they keep going up, why people are losing their coverage. It's unfair. Are these companies just making a ton of money off of us? Or is it really the case that the prices have to go up that high? We need to find out. I think most people will say fair is fair. If that's what it costs, I'll pay it. But if you're just jacking up prices and you're making profits off of me, no, that's not fair. So we'll try to freeze that. We'll also start to make it more possible to build the homes that hopefully will bring down the price by having a bit greater supply so that you can actually afford to buy a house. And we're going to do everything we can to fend off the menace in the White House, who has made it impossible for us to have decent health care by he's gutted $1 trillion out of the healthcare system, used it to pay for tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy. And so we'll do what we can to fight to make sure that Californians don't lose their health insurance coverage so they can have access to the doctor or the hospital they need.
What can we do for this upcoming election to get more young voters not only registered, but actually out to the voting booths?
Talk to them. Have policies that are geared towards them. You just mentioned how sometimes looks like older generations of politicians don't understand young people. Well, that's because they probably aren't talking to them and there's distance from them. Let's reach out to them and find out what they need. I guarantee you most of them will say what you just said. I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
At some point I want to believe I can buy a house. I see there's too many young people who've approached me and said, oh, I don't even think about buying a house.
It's not even in the realm of, or have families, kids, because everything's so expensive.
And I tell them, stop. You need to be thinking that you're going to own a house, because otherwise you're going to work your entire life and have income, but you're going to work your entire life and never create wealth.
Yep.
And you need wealth.
Yes. Now, 30 seconds, no political jargon.
Okay.
Why should California voters vote for you in this upcoming election?
Because they're going to get someone who's actually done this work, won't need training wheels the moment he walks into the governor's office to do the job, and who's not going to try to sell you on some inflated promise. He's going to tell you that I can do that because I did it before.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me on my walk today.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute pleasure. I'm happy we got to get outside and get a little fresh air and not have you cooped up all day in the office.
We'll do it again.
Yes,
we still have
definitely.
about 9,500 steps to go, right?
Yeah, something like that. Well, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.